never know when my camera wants to zoom in, and sometimes it doesn't want to zoom in. Never makes any sense to me. Good morning, everybody. How we doing? How we doing? Can I be in the camera? Is that cool? Can I be in the camera? No? Go pound sand? No, I'm turning it the wrong way. Anyways, whatever. Who cares about the camera? Yeah, I can share this playlist. This one, there's a bunch of these actually by the same guy. A bunch of them. Is that the share button? Where's the share? I found it. Link is shared. Dude, that camera's gonna drive me crazy. Seriously, just gonna zoom in like that the whole fucking time? Like, can we relax there, camera? Can we relax? No? No chill from the camera today. My camera guy's fired. My camera guy's fired. Alright. Good. Oh, dang it. I need to chat. Hey, there's my chat go. All right, top of the morning to Aaron and H-Sing and J Takaoka. Nadima Khalil. Nadima Khalil. What's up, man? Simon Bilan. What's up, people? We'll do a little. I'm gonna do a little bit of time. Spend some time recapping the macro. All right, here we go. And yeah, we have some time before market open, so we're just gonna do some little remindings of the macro situation on Bitcoin, and then we'll dive into local price action. Is that the old C19 issue there? Looks like it. Yeah. This is about the only time I've seen on the chart that I'm aware of where you kind of just form a significant low like this and run. Typically lows will look more accumulative in nature. And I'm sorry for everybody who's already heard me say this a bunch of times. You're just going to have to bear with me. I just want to get this out there for the people who maybe haven't. We get situations like that. We get situations like this. It's actually better on the daily. Look at the daily. Even something like that, it wasn't a ginormous run, but it was a pretty decent run at the time. So just a friendly reminder that that's what accumulation looks like. Okay, so if this is what accumulation looks like before we have large upticks in price, then to the current range of price could be a different scenario, right? It could be different, or it could not be different, right? We get the point on this stuff. So if that's what accumulation looks like, what does it not look like, right? It does not look like this. Right? It doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like this either. What do we have currently? That's what we have currently. Okay, so moral of the story is to say that I still will say that you're not looking at accumulation unless the low on Bitcoin at $60,000 gets swept. And then you have the potential for starting to look at an accumulation model. Until then, we don't. And redistribution is something that we have to be aware of at this point. Same way that we redistributed here, same way that we redistributed here. Um, Same way that we redistributed here. I mean, this is less of a distribution, that's more of a mitigation and continuation, but we have to be aware of this, right? So let's start making ourselves aware of it. Say the top of the range at this point is here. Does that mean that redistribution can't hit off of an internal high in a range and redistribute from there? Well, it absolutely can. It's less likely, but it doesn't mean that it can't. It absolutely can. So yesterday we made a pretty significant climb up. We still did not break the most immediate range of price bullishly, in my opinion. This is not broken. No, and so therefore it's at risk of complete collapse as it stands right now. I still will argue that we don't have any support until down, like we don't have any significant support until down at 66,313.68. And we've just really failed to initiate above the 68,700 high. And that leaves potential for redistribution to occur literally where we're at on the chart, take us back down to this guy, probably challenge the overall low again at 60,000, if not the low at 64,477. So just wanted to make a quick reminder on, kind of what things look like on the more macro area as we continue to attempt to navigate the local range that sits between 72,232 and that 60,000 low. So if we're looking at this from a range perspective purely, which, if you know me, I'm pretty sure that's all I do. And we look at the absolute premium of a range all the way to the discount of a range, then we got to hit the right buttons. Then we have achieved the premium of this range. Just in general, we have achieved the premium of this. So it could be time for some downside, and it just could, right? So we'll continue to cut it up. I think I'll flip over to the Bybit chart and we'll kind of clean this guy up and go from there, right? All right, yeah, let's clean all. I'm gonna leave that one piece of demand down there. I still like that piece of demand, so we're gonna leave that. All right. All right, so we had, we drew back below this. I'm just on the 3-hour time frame. That 3-hour candle. The length of this first bearish 3-hour candle yesterday is not enough for me to really call this 3-hour prior candle a supply block. It doesn't really qualify yet, but nonetheless, what we have is we at least have our local high at 69,989.8, and we, I believe, have possibly confirmed a range, like an internal range low here at 67,563.6. We're going to investigate that information. So that's going to qualify as a range low at this point. So this is going to be the point that I am most immediately interested in along is almost literally going to be just like it was yesterday. A sweep of our current low at 67,563.6 with a local structural transition would suffice for me. So let's get in a little closer. Get that guy out of here. Get this junk out of here. What do we have internally? Yeah, internally to this range, we do have some distributive nature. Got some Dirty Art Club up next. Track called Strange Wolf. So as it stands right now, the local contents of the bottom of our most immediate trading range here does not transition bullish until 68,173.2. Yeah, maybe we get another hump of market structure between here and the low at 67,563, but we'll see. We'll see as market opens. Technically have a little 5-minute order block north of us here. It's going to exist between that high at 68,173 and 68 on the nose. So we've left a touch of resistance on the chart here. There's a potential that, yeah, I mean, here's what I want to see. Here's what I want to see. I want to see us form one more leg up of this market structure and then come down and tag that low and come back and break that high in some manner. I really don't want to hit the low if there is a trade here. First of all, if there is a trade here, and then wait for a return all the way back above 68,173. I would prefer not to do that. I would prefer to have another piece of market structure develop between 68,173 and 67,563. That's what I prefer, but you know what I always say about that. Don't give a shit what I want. But this is essentially, yeah, I'm going to be looking for a deviation to the south of 67,563 on market open, and I'm gonna see what we get down there. See what we get down there. Do we have a tiny order block below us? Maybe we do. It's pretty shitty looking. It is pretty shitty looking. There's a touch of a 15-minute order block right here, but I must say it really makes me question life. But that order block below the range sits between 67,550 and 67,139. So let's see here. As far as longs go, the spot that I'm most immediately interested is going to be that sweep that we just talked about. Outside of that, I'm probably pretty hands off until, yeah, probably that zone we identified yesterday between 65,668 and 65,146. Now, as far as shorts go, I can see that we broke that, like, what is this, 5-10 minute structure or whatever bearishly yesterday. I can see that, but as far as a short goes, I'm gonna need to see it remove some manner of liquidity before I'm interested in taking a short. So it's gonna have to take something from the top before I'm interested in chasing it down, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's gonna have to take something from the top first. So either a sweep of, like, the 68,300 area or the 68,800 area. I mean, I see a sweep up there, or not really going to be interested. Are you really going to touch this low before market open? That is unfortunate, but we did get that other. We get some 1 minute structure coming down. We'll take it. We'll take what we can get. So currently, if I'm right and we hit that low and we do see positive action, it's still not going to be a bullish break until 67,832. All right, now let's hop over and take a look at the chats and see what y'all are up to in here. Hey, well, welcome in, Nadim. I'm so butchering your name. I know I'm butchering your name, man, but welcome in, Nadim Malkil. I fucking just can't. It's an awesome name, but I just can't. I'm terrible with this stuff. French Toaster, what's up? Long time no see. Alexandria G, top of the morning. Long time no see to you too. Keen Bean, what's up? You short of 3 taps, 1 minute boss. Well, you were up earlier. You just live in a different time zone. You crazy, man. 3 tap, 1 minute boss. Oh, this guy? Nice. 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 Worked better than my fucking idea yesterday. I kind of knew this was just going to shit the bed when it hit that demand and that demand held. And I'm pretty sure it hit the demand after that. I'm not crazy. Oh no, this is the demand chain. The demand chain was here. Um, and so I was like, okay, perfect. This doesn't bother me per se, but when we roll into here and hit supply, and then we came up and set one more low, I'm like, okay, there's still hope. But then when we hit that demand and started lifting again, I was like, nah, it's coming for those. It's coming for those, man. It's coming for them. So, yeah. But that is a nice short. I like this. I like this one. Oh, you took the 1 minute. Yeah, even better, bro. Even better. Very nice. Very nice. Super dig. All right. Well, we do have about 20 minutes to look at different various altcoins. So let's do that. While you guys are loading up some altcoins, we'll take a peek at NQ, see what's popping over on that chart. Take a look at Tether dominance. NQ doesn't look chill here. Yeah, and now, I mean, I will say the lows are problematic. They don't look like accumulation. They do not look like accumulation. No, sorry, but they don't. Yeah, I mean, NQ has the potential to redistribute here, but you know, to hit this high and to hit the high at 25,473-ish, pull back and then immediately start climbing back up towards that. First of all, you haven't broken any significant structure up here yet, and yeah. Second of all, short story. Let's keep it short stories today. This still looks like it goes up to me. Yeah. Yeah. That still looks like it goes up to me. Let's take a look at ES. I don't think ES gives us any new information here. It's always such a second thought. Yeah, same exact. I'm seeing. No. Yeah. ES looks at least immediately bullish back to its local high, and that's the same thing I would say about NQ, right? I'm not going to believe anything on NQ or ES until it can break its local high, but I think it's at least immediately bullish back to its local high. And let's take a look at the Tether dominance, because I feel like this chart is going to give me a small surprise today. No, unfortunately it didn't. Yeah, no, it didn't. This does not. I still don't think. I still think Tether dominance looks slightly bearish here. Yeah, I do. So I guess that goes. Yeah, that goes right in line with sort of what we're looking at on Bitcoin. I still think Tether dominance ultimately takes these lows down here. Or that low, rather. Yeah, that seems to make a lot more sense to me than it returning back up here and taking its most immediate high out. That doesn't make nearly as much sense to me as taking these lows. Yeah. Okay, so I would say more or less that would align with how I'm feeling. Dude, Bitcoin, let's not do this, bro. That is not... That's rude. Dude. That's rude, but that's okay. I mean, we're gonna deal with what we've worked with, or what we're given. We're gonna work with what we're given. So this is a little bit of a transition and narrative on Bitcoin here, and I want to cover this before market open. So we did already immediately break our 1 minute structure bullishly. We are heading up to test that tiny bit of supply in between 68 and 68,173. This gives an opportunity for market open to actually draw back into this demand block and find your lift from there. Now, I don't like that idea nearly as much, not even a little bit. Now, it's very possible, and so it's something that we're going to be monitoring as it comes into market open, but I don't prefer that approach. No. I think it is so much more bullish to actually purge the low. It's, what do we call this thing, 67,500-ish? I think it is actually far, far more bullish to do that. I mean, you clipped your internal lows of your range, so it's not the most hateful thing in the world, but I really feel as though that external point it's such a more logical place for me. Such a more logical place for me. And so essentially what that means now is in order to return down to that zone, and that's just an if, right? I'm not a psychic, but that's an if we can get back down there. It just means that we have a lot more work to do now before we can perform a local breakage structure. Um, Unfortunately, that is what it is. Yeah, unfortunately, that is what it is. I think this actually gives a little bit of a setup where you could see something like this happen on market open, pull down into your most immediate demand, lift up to clear your most accessible liquidity to actually fall back down to the low. And in that case, I think you actually break the low. I think you actually break the low in that case. So that's another flow. That's another kind of thing that we can sort of keep a look for this morning. All right, let's see if you guys had any altcoins. Where'd that fucking chat go, man? Where'd that fucking chat go? Doge, man, I ain't done Doge in a bit. That'd be cool. Doge, yeah, let's bang on some Doge. Let's bang on some Sol. Night approaching bullish OB. Well, sweet man, let's go pop on those things. Doge, Sol, stuff like that. Doge, where you at, dude? Boy, you went all the way through that demand. All right. Okay, so what do we have here? What do we have most immediately here? Let's talk about let's talk about this. This is decent-ish. It could be problematic, but we'll take a look. So we set a low, we set a high, we set a low. We came back, we cleaned that high off, and we scraped off the most notable piece of supply that sat above the high. So all that stuff kind of got erased. Cool, we get to move our high over here now. So because we had failed this range, that's not a bullish break of that range. Sorry, it's just not. Because we failed that, and for me, I'm expecting retracements as far as back down to the swing low at whatever 80 cents it is. And the only thing that would ever change my mind about that is if we can transition structure prior to getting there, which we absolutely did. Right, we absolutely transitioned structure yesterday here, and then we came up and we cleaned out some of these highs. So let's talk about this stuff. We had liquidity all throughout there. All that liquidity has been taken. So we have a demand range remaining beneath us here, and I'm going to say that entire demand range exists between 0.9 or whatever 9.09757 and 0.08992. So in the event that this is meant for a range, an initiation, a mitigation, and a continuation, then this zone should not be lost. If this zone is lost, you are coming for the low. Period, point blank, end of story. If you break the zone bearishly, you're coming for the low. You have one more internal low there that maybe could stop you, but what is the point in coming all the way up here to come back down to here? It just doesn't make as much sense to me. It really doesn't. Why wouldn't the market maker just bring it here first and then run it up here and then continue to run it up here? If they ran it up here to purge all this liquidity and then they run it back down to here, I don't think it's to load up a long. Okay, I don't think it's to load up a long. They would have wanted all that liquidity resting for the long. So that just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me. So the areas to me to be looking for a long on Doge. What time frame are we on here? We're on the 4 hour. There's a 4 hour order block right at the tip of this, and that exists between 11,759 and 11,381. Worth some markers up there. um, all right, so now the most important thing that we need to be aware of is what does our structure look like on the last leg that goes north from here? What is the primary structure of that expansion leg, and when does it break bearishly? Chances are good it's going to look just like Bitcoin in this area. And it's not, it could be better actually. Bitcoin actually looks better in this area because you did not make a 50% retracement in this range and then you fell below it. So this immediately looks a little struggle bussy here. Yeah, it looks a little struggle bussy. I'm going to say that the most immediate resistance above this exists between decimal 10217 and decimal 10338 on the Doge. We don't really need this line. That line needs to go away. It's that old news, right? Yeah, cool. So as far as what needs to happen on this leg for it to break bearishly, its bearish break is all the way in the in the south end of this demand range, right? Like it literally can't break bearishly until here. And we all know that if it's down in this region, it's taking this fucking low anyway. Now, we don't know whether that low is going to hold or whether it's going to break, but if you're coming for this thing here, you're fucking coming for that, right? That all that really does is help us establish that we do have further demand inside of this demand range. Let's call it an order block, if you will, at decimal 1933 to decimal 494. So we've identified another zone inside of here that's a little more that's like kind of juicy for mitigation, and then outside of that, what we have is we have downwards structure, right? Downwards internal only structure that looks like this, and then if you're going to go internal to that leg still, then the guts of that leg look like this. So if we can see the structure start to lift up from here, we can start aiming at higher targets like this one and this one and this one. But no local shift back to bullish, no long for me. And I see that this is this is inefficient price action, aka low volume, and could come right back through all that. But I don't like this structurally local. I don't like this structure locally for a short. I don't care for it. So really, what I would want to see on this is at least to get back inside of the demand range, and then look for a transition in structure. Unless we can just get a local transition in structure, and then we can try and rip it. But yeah, I think. And then as far as like macro goes, yeah, this doesn't look like accumulation has occurred yet. So that's kind of my 2 cents on Doge. Let's pop over and bang on some Sol, and I just want to keep things moving pretty fast here because market's going to open fairly soon. I'd like to get back to Bitcoin. Okay, so Sol. Let's start on the 4. So this looks more. This looks a little bit more like. Redistribution locally than it does accumulation. Let's see, did we actually clip this high? Yeah, we sure did, dude. We sure did. Now, the leg of price in which we did it in was fairly bullish, man. It was fairly bullish, right? Broke structure yesterday, and like yesterday, was this yesterday? Yeah, yesterday was, or no, this starts on Tuesday. That run starts on Tuesday, but every candle, every 4-hour candle is bullish. So that is a very aggressive way to tackle the high. Now, obviously, a couple of things happened up here. One, people took profit. Two, people had sell orders up there. But that doesn't mean that that's the winning idea yet. No, it doesn't. Price can easily come from this area and still run right back up. I can see that people have definitely been loading these shorts in since it has taken the swing high at 90.96, as indicated by the constant wicks on the north of the candles, right? You don't see those wicks on the south end of the candles. So people are loading short here. This liquidity right here is vulnerable to be run. It's right here. So very easy for market maker to come back and run that liquidity right there. That's a non-issue. Um, uh, the smart money move to do so, though, would still be to bring price below your most local low at 86.40, or I'm sorry, 86.48, to bring in more sellers, right? To bring in more sellers. They can bring in some more sellers under here, and then you come back and you rip it on them, right? So I would actually, even though you didn't get your 50% retracement on this one, or was that Doge? God, now when we get a little in here though, hold on, let's take a look at this closer. Man, this is a mess in here. Here's all I'm willing to say about this. You took this low out, and directly underneath that low, you had a manipulative event. This is a lot of the makings of a what we call a power of three. That has a lot of makings of a power of three. Now, I'm only really so convinced that the objective of that move is to come and take out some of this internal liquidity. Wouldn't be surprised if it's literally just the first line. Yeah, we really wouldn't be too surprised if it's actually just this. And if the objective of this is just to take out this and not to come up here further, that'd be problematic. Now, having said that, when did this occur? Okay, so this was Asia's session yesterday. This is actually really not hateful that this happened on the open of the Asia session. That could have very well been the event to drive those sellers in for that fill of the long position to actually climb it back up to the high. Now that I'm looking at the timing of that, that's not helpful. That's not hateful. I haven't seen anything yet that I would want to look for a short on any of these charts. So I like the idea of a long on Doge in this area as well. To me, these candles tell me that it's going to be kind of hard to get your hands on. Yeah, I would really like to see the removal of some manner of liquidity prior to us heading up. There is still demand down there. It'd just be so much better. But again, the better way to do that is not to take topside liquidity before coming for bottom side liquidity. That's just not the way to do it. I'd much rather see this walk down from here and then head up towards market open, which is in 4 minutes. So as we go back to Bitcoin, yeah, we have mitigated and we have continued, which is, yeah, I think, all right, we're gonna need to refresh the perspective on this. Somewhat. So we no longer have this area to work with on market open. It has been used. So we're going to clean this up, and then this supply has already been used. So both of these are off the chart now. Irrelevant. Now our most local demand is existing between 68007 and 67778. And so this will be an interesting area to look for a lift out of this morning. Maybe those internal lows were really what was what, man. I still... A zone like that, I'll say it again, is statistically provides better results, but I don't like it anymore. And especially if we hit this to come down to here, I've already covered this, but that from a institutional perspective, it does not make sense to take this and then take this and then run it. What makes sense is to curl all this liquidity down, purge the low, then run all of that liquidity into a break, mitigate and continue. That's what makes sense from an institutional order flow perspective, in my opinion. So here we go. Let's wait for... Oh, Alex is here. Thought he was on vacation, bro. Thought he was on vacation. Let me go bug him really quick.
Everybody, preparing you guys for market open as we proceed. We got 2 minutes. I had a nice sleep in this morning because I deserve it. Let's go. Wild to think. Anyways, rejection off of the self.
So I had to pop over and leave him a comment real quick, and yeah, I'm a chill because market is opening, and I've got work to do here on this chart. So let's get the music in both ears and let's lock the fuck in. Visually, I'm looking for this. And I do not want this touched first. No, no. No, no. No touchy that first. Touch this first. Then touch this. And then we'll figure out what we're doing here. Power of three. A power of three is it can happen in a bullish variety or a bearish variety. Either way, what it is it's a manipulative event to draw in liquidity. So power three would look like this. You would come down, you would set a low, you would set a high. It doesn't matter how many times it hits these. It can only hit them once, or it can hit them multiple times, right? So that's multiple times, or it can just hit them once. Doesn't either one works fine in my book. I need at least this much information on the chart to look for a power of three, right? And then the way a power of three is going to typically present is it's going to come below this low, presenting as though it broke structure bearishly. People are going to start loading in shorts inside of this area down here, and those shorts are going to get used to fill a long position. So that's the manipulative event. And what you expect after this type of event is an expansion. And then if you invert that, you have the bearish variety for a bearish expansion. And recent examples are present on the chart, so we can take a look at those real quick. I'm gonna get alert on the high here. Come on, give me an alert, bro. Okay, so we're going to talk about this real quick before we can look at the example of the bearish PO3. We have removed south side liquidity. We have removed south side liquidity. So if we come back and start breaching above our local high at 68,112, I am looking for long. So I'm going to alert there. I'm going to get one more here, and then we'll go take a look at that PO3. That is a bearish PO3. Come on, internet. Bro, don't do this to me. There's a bullish PO3 down here. Happened at the same time that the all-time high of Bitcoin was formed. Alright, we're still stuck in here. I'll go back to chat. Oh, we didn't do night yet either. I'm sorry. John Foster Crypto, what's up, man? Delta in this area is pretty neutral since market open. Last 30 seconds and 1 minute, Delta has been pretty much neutral here. So, decent pickup on volume, but nothing overly relevant on that data set, if you ask me. CVD, completely neutral stance. Don't see anything too exciting there either. Oh, hey, bud. Hey, buddy. I don't know why I can't hear my alerts. Maybe my music's too loud. I don't like that sharp wick, man. I don't like that sharp wick. You remember, I'm still very cautious about a removal of liquidity here for a March south. So, hence the reason I don't like to see a wick in this area. So climb, homie, climb. This really hurts the risk reward too, by the way. Because if you're covering that low, like we gotta aim pretty far north. Well, then again, I guess the ultimate target is up there. So, all right. Decision making time. I'm gonna go for it. Let's see what this next scandal looks like. We do have some significant negative delta building right now, so I'm going to need to see that absorbed. Yeah, I'll go for it. It's still trading inside of orb, so it's arguably less than ideal. Arguably less than ideal, but I gotta get something kicking off here, so. Less than encouraging.
This is the Jukebox with Frank Ferret, only on Base FM.
Topside wicks say not done going down at all. NQ dying, huh? Sure is.
It's not about getting drunk only. It's the only brew with a very keen sense of how very, very short life is.
Yeah, Delta's been negative for a bit, but I haven't set a new low yet. I'm gonna go ahead and take the stop loss and just move on with my life. Unless all of a sudden you want to go up now, but I would assume. All right, we got to do something, Bitcoin. We got to do something here, buddy. So I can't stay on the stream forever, so let's get out of here. Give me something else to talk about before. I don't want to leave the stream and just be hovering inside a fucking orb still. That sounds terrible. That sounds terrible. Yeah, they're really slugging it out here, huh? I'm really not interested in that low. I'm only interested in the low at this point. Actually, not too concerned about that anymore. I'm going to say that that was enough of that liquidity. Lit was respectful TA yesterday.
Stairway to hip hop heaven. Grammatic versus Led Zeppelin, of course.
Pretty respectful. Oh yeah, very
Gonna
respectful.
Chill here for the next couple of tracks with some Joe Kurtz and some Feynman. 2 tracks, Vega and Air.
It's a pretty bearish approach to that low. Grab a fresh Bitcoin short real quick. Alright, now the shorts are pounding in under that low. It could be the objective of the move there. What a shame, man. Yeah, unfortunately, this puts me in a bit of a difficult position to find the next entry. All right, so I'll be running out of time here pretty soon, so let me kind of wrap up my thoughts on this. We began the stream recognizing that we were in premium of this range and that we had not bullishly broke this high, aka SFP. There's demand down there. What is that line? What is that on my chart? Go away. Oh, sorry. Never finished my thoughts. So yeah, it's very possible to recover quite a bit of the stuff. Let me get back to that Bybit chart. Yeah, I'm literally, there's not a zone in between here and here that I like. I think golden pockets in this area, but I don't care for it. So hold on. I'm debating whether I want to attempt a short or plan for one. It would look like well, let me not fiddle fart around. It looked like this. That's what that would look like. Which is going to require some manner of retracement for me, or I may just walk away today with a loss. You know what I mean? It happens to everybody. Did you miss my zone, you bastard? Oh, you got it. I don't remember where I found that. Well, unfortunately, not able to find an entry on a successful entry on Market Open. And I'm running out of time, so I'll be hitting the road here pretty soon. I'm gonna keep an eye out for something that presents that way. See if I can take my money back from the market makers today. And I'm not long until one of two things. You see structure form where it like maybe makes one more push down, retraces up, makes one more push down, fills the local low and breaks the high. This would be the very first thing that I would see that would make me interested in a long. That would be looking at it through the lens of this being a manipulative event below this low and not actually a break of structure. It would be an internal break only. Outside of that, if I can't get specifically this to develop down here, I'm not long until we're back up above this high. Bro, can we get on the damn wick, homie? And that's it. That's all. Did it? Did that's it? That's all, folks. Ah. All right. Well, I'd like to see, I mean, ideally here, I'm just going to say a couple more things before I leave. Ideally here, I'd like to see some structure develop, at least. Right? Doesn't always happen. Like, it could just do this now. So that's a tough decision to make without some more clear candles in this area. It's just tough to make a call. Personal opinion. You do what works for you, and I'm gonna hit the road, yo. Thanks for joining me this morning. Appreciate you guys. Love you. Rooting for you. Not a goddamn thing you'll be able to do about it.